Greetings. This is Justin Allen with the Elite Nurse Practitioner. Welcome to the Elite Nurse Practitioner Show, a podcast dedicated to nurse practitioner entrepreneurism and achieving financial freedom, where I talk directly with nurse practitioners who need help. Listen up, our market is saturated. Jobs can be scarce. We are underpaid. We are undervalued. We are taken advantage of by the sharks within the healthcare system. And frankly, screw that. Sick of it. And it's time for a change. And listen, I'm here to help make that happen. We are powerful. We can forge a path where we are in control of our career and ultimately our financial and personal well-being. You do not need to submit to healthcare administrators and your doctor overlords. You do not have to take the measly salary. You do not have to work 50 to 60 hours a week. There is a different way, and I'm here to show you that path. This podcast is raw and unfiltered. I have not talked with the nurse practitioners in this podcast prior to the call outside of an email exchange to schedule the episode. What you're about to listen to is a consultation session between a nurse practitioner and myself. It is real, it is unscripted, it is unplanned, and I have no idea what we're going to talk about. Anything and everything can happen during our conversation. The nurse practitioners in these episodes are struggling with an issue in their professional or financial life, and they have reached out to me for help. My goal is to help the nurse practitioner with actionable advice that will enhance and improve their professional, business, and financial life. My other goal is to hopefully help my nurse practitioner sisters and brothers build a more productive, powerful, and free life. So I hope the content and information within these podcast episodes does just that. All right, onto the episode. Hey everyone, today we'll be talking to Peggy, who is a women's health nurse practitioner. We talked to her previously on episode 121, where we covered scaling concepts, so go back and listen to that. Today, her practice has grown, and now she's needing assistance with provider-patient relationships and scaling her brand and her business to the next level. Hey Peggy, how are you?
Good, Justin. How are you?
I'm good. So we talked on, I don't know, it was about 2 years ago or so. So I guess bring everyone up to speed. So with kind of where you were at a couple years ago and where you are at now.
Okay, so I opened Trust Women's Healthcare in 2021. And when we had spoken, I wanted to really wanted the business to work for me. I didn't want to work in the business as much. So I wanted to hire other MPs, and I was a little apprehensive because, it's my baby, it's my brand. So you were really encouraging in kind of walking me through that. So since then, we've been open 5 years. We have a total of 5 providers, and I opened another location, which is they're 30 miles away from one another. We are still insurance-based. We do self-pay patients, especially for those who don't have insurance. The brand has really scaled. I mean, we're seeing over 400 visits a month between the 5 providers. I'm able to go on vacation. I went to Asia for 2 weeks. They didn't call me. Patients were being seen, money was being brought in. So this was actually really, really good. I've been featured on different media outlets, promoting women's health. We've really niched down to not just preventative GYN, but, PMOS, menopause, perimenopause, vaginal, like the real conditions that women really need assistance with that they can't find from just a general OBGYN. I have clinical protocols for my providers. I have standard operating procedures. We have 3 VAs. So, a lot has changed in the 2 years. And now I feel like I'm more of a CEO with a multi-location practice and as opposed to a self-employed nurse practitioner. So I'm really excited about this.
Good for you. Good for you. Hell yeah. Good. Yeah. So you've truly moved from self-employed to entrepreneur at this point. Yeah. You hit the nail on the head. Before you were just self-employed. Now you're an entrepreneur. Now you have people working for you. Now you have another location. Like you can go on a 2-week vacation and not have to think about this. Yeah.
Correct.
That's what an entrepreneur is. An entrepreneur builds a business like that. And most people listening to this are just self-employed. So well done.
Thank you.
Revenue wise, what are you doing? If you don't mind sharing, I'm just curious.
Sure. Real general, like we see over 400 patients a month. And even with insurance based, average cost per visit is maybe about $190 per visit, but I reinvested a lot of our, margins back into the business, especially having the two locations, the second location, as well as the clinical team. So I reinvested a lot of that, also, courses and things of that nature. So we're doing pretty well. I'm not quite where I want to be yet. I think 500 visits is a good goal at this point with the current infrastructure that we have. So and we're still fighting with insurance, but we're making it work.
Yep. So are you making a profit on a monthly basis right now?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're
Okay.
we've been profit since the practice has been open 7 months. So
Yeah.
we've been profit.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Is this $1 million business yet?
It's projected this year. So we're really excited about that. It is
Is
definitely
that
projected.
is that a
That would be
million
gross.
gross or million gross?
Gross.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Gross.
gross.
Yeah. Okay. All right. All
Yeah.
right. Perfect. So let's get you to $1 million net. That's what we care about. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like if you ever want to sell this practice, it's going to be a hell of a lot easier to sell if we can get you to $1 million net. All right. Anything below that it's kind of difficult to sell.
hmm
So I don't know what your grand goals are, but that should always be at least an option, right? So if you want to have an exit event, 3 years down the road or something like that, you want to just be set up for that just in case, things change.
Absolutely. And just listening to, all your podcasts and just having that exit plan, because again, I'm building this brand and it's pretty much the infrastructure is there. It's just not, I'm still having fun. I'm still enjoying being there, seeing patients and growing to where, but I'm still young as well. So I think that I still have some years, but that is eventually the goal.
And how old are you?
I will be 47 soon.
Yeah. So see, like anyone listening to this right now, Peggy started when you were
42?
43, 42, 43. So it's not too late to start if you're in your
No,
40s. No.
no, not
Yeah.
at all.
Right. You change the trajectory of your career. You could still be stuck at some job, right?
Absolutely. And that was a
Right.
driver of me opening my own practice because I was just tired of just the rat race and not being heard and not moving up. And I was like, listen, I was like, I can do this. So that was the driver, to be honest. And I think
Yep.
it was the best decision. And I think I agree with you in your previous podcast. You said that I wish I would have left sooner. I wish I would have
Right.
left my 9 to 5 sooner.
Right. That's the regret everyone has. The
hmm
regret is not, I wish I didn't start this business. The regret is, I wish I would have quit my job a hell of a lot sooner. Yeah. Always, always the regret.
Yeah,
100% of the time.
I would have.
Yeah. Okay. So let's talk about how to get this thing to the next level. So let's first address, one of your big problems right now. So you have this problem with, you briefly just told me this before we started the call, with, the patient, the provider relationship, people seeing other providers, not wanting to see other people. They want to see you instead, like this entire dynamic. So walk me through this problem a little bit.
So, I've been the face of the brand. I have been on the social media platforms. I've been trying to put my other providers on there so they get familiar. They're on the website. So patients get familiarized. But when patients call, they want to see me. My MAs, they try to have them scheduled with other providers. I mean, it's been going okay. Like they do have volume, but they're not maximized. Like there's still room for them to see more patients. So it's just really trying to get patients to see the other providers who are fabulous. These are all women. They're reliable. We've all, we have meetings. We're all on the same page in terms of patient care. So that's not the issue. The issue is really getting not even just the established patients. They're like, no, they're like, I'll wait for me. It's okay. But the newer patients, it's like really trying to get them to see the other providers. I've danced around just not seeing new patients at all. But then it's like, okay, am I hurting the brand and the revenue by doing that? That's the risk. I don't know if I'm willing to take at this point.
Well, I think first off, it's a risk you have to take. Okay. Like, I mean, you have two options here, right? You don't take that risk, and this thing is still very reliant on you in a way, you
Mhm.
know, and you aren't able to maximize the return on this other investment over here that you made, hiring these providers and training them and stuff. You'll never be able to fully capture that return
Yeah.
if you don't take that risk, right? But if you take that risk, now this investment's paying off, you know, from these providers that you've hired and trained, and now you're able to free up a lot more time as well to do what you got to do to get this business to the next level, right? So I think it's just a risk that you have to accept. Will there be people who will not be happy with that? Of course there will be.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, I had this exact same issue at my men's health clinic. All right. So I was the product, right? Everyone wanted to see Justin. You know, I was the only provider there for the first, you know, 2-3 years, and you know, every patient was mine. And so, you know, I hired another provider, then I hired another one, and uh, I basically just told the front desk, my medical assistants and stuff. I told them, I was like, every new patient who calls gets scheduled on these other providers, no question about it, unless they are just adamant about it and they are making it a problem, like they're not going to schedule at all whatsoever because their friend sees me and they only want to see me, that kind of a thing, right? Then fine, I will see them. But this is not this is a very this is an exception basically, right? Like this is, I don't want this to be a rule here. Like this is an exception where every once in a while you can schedule a new patient on me, kind of a thing, right? If they're just adamant about it. Otherwise, they don't have a choice. They're seeing the other providers. So first off, so when people are first calling for the initial intake or whatever to get established, that's their options. The option isn't to see you unless they just make it a problem, right? There's always going to be someone like that. There just always will be, okay? But you should be able to get 80-90% of new patients off of you. You should be able to, okay? Now, what about all your established patients, right? That's an
Yeah.
issue. And so what we did was, when it was time for my patients to follow up with me at their 3 to 6 month follow up or whatever, um, the MAs would call them to schedule their follow up after they got their blood work done, and we would basically, you know, have a little white lie kind of a thing. We would tell the patients, Justin's schedule is full for the next 3 or 4 weeks, okay, for the follow up, but we can get you in with so and so tomorrow if you want. They're just as good. Justin trained them. They're fully experienced, blah, 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 whatever. And you know what? 60-70% of the patients didn't give two shits and they went over to the other person. And then once they went over there, they stayed over there. So I was able to unload almost all my patients over a period of about 6 months. No problem
And
at
it's
all.
and it's interesting you say that because in our Brooklyn location, I am booked out weeks. Like you can't get an appointment weeks. My other location in Deer Park, we are still trying. I'm there only 2 days a week. I am booked, but again, I still have availability. But Brooklyn is like you can't get in to see me in Brooklyn for the next. I think our earliest is like in about 3-4 weeks right now. So that's how they're able to offload a lot of those patients because they're like, no, I need to get in and I need to see someone. But initially, they're like, nope, I want to see her, and that's it. So I definitely hear that's. I mean, it's a good problem to have, but yeah, it's a challenge for my staff.
Yeah, it's a real problem. It's a good
Mhm.
problem, but it is a real problem.
A real
Yes.
problem.
It's going to be very hard for you to grow and scale this thing in a way if all these people just want to see you. So I think what I would do if I was you is begin
Mhm.
starting to offload some of these follow-ups on other providers if you can. Okay.
Okay.
Some people aren't going to care. They're just not.
Mhm.
Okay. Some people who are just dialed in, who don't need that much from you
Like,
anymore. You know, these people who just need refills at this point. Like it's a simple visit kind of a thing. There is no reason why these other providers can't see those people. And those people are probably just more or less like, you know what, I'm dialed in, I don't really care. So
mm,
I would just try to just
got it.
slowly move these follow-ups over to other people. Start there at least. And then the new
Okay.
patients. I know you said it's a challenge for your staff, but come up with some kind of script, come up with some kind of reason why these patients should see another provider. Okay. That's how I would probably approach it. Maybe say something like, well, listen, this other provider is actually a lot more skilled at your problem. You know,
Yeah.
I know these are little white lies, but oh well. I mean,
Yeah. And they're all fabulous, which is great. But it's
right,
just convincing.
right. They're just as good as you are at
Yeah,
the end
they
of the
are. They
day.
are.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like the patient's going to receive the same treatment, the
Yeah,
exact same script. They're going to receive the same thing. Like, yeah,
absolutely.
yeah. So I would just say that needs to be your number one priority then, is to try to get as much of this off of you as possible. Um, and then ultimately, after a little while, it's as simple as Peggy doesn't accept any more new patients. We are
Yeah.
sorry. That's just it. There's no more exceptions made at all. Like,
Yeah.
that's the rule now. I don't see any more new patients. I'm sorry. And that's how it is with my men's health clinic. I haven't seen a new patient in, I don't even know, a year and a half, 2 years.
Wow.
Okay. I don't even know if I can even do a new patient visit anymore.
It's like riding a bike. I know, but that's good though. Yeah, I get
Yeah.
it.
So I think that's just what you have to do. You got to put your foot down. You will probably, there will be a couple people who might leave, maybe, but I wouldn't worry too much about that. I don't think this is that much of a risk, honestly. I really don't. I don't think people are willing, I don't think they would leave because they can't see you. Then they have to get reestablished somewhere else and whatever. You have another provider that's happy
Yeah.
to see them. So
Right.
yeah, and also, this is a conversation you should be having with some of these people. You could just say something, and I had these conversations with some of my patients too, the ones that I knew that might be a little bit difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I would have a conversation with them during a follow-up, and I would just let them know, like, hey, listen, I'm really starting to cut back my hours here. I got some family stuff going on, blah, 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 whatever. And, I'm trying to decrease my patient load. I mean, listen, you're dialed in at this point. These follow-ups that we are having are pretty quick. Like, there's really nothing new you need from me. My associate over here is more than capable of seeing you and actually having a fresh eye on your labs and your symptoms and your presentation and diagnoses or whatever actually might not be a bad thing. And, when I had those conversations with people, a lot of times they would just be like, yeah, that's fine. No problem. If they hear from you. So,
Yeah, no, that's definitely going to try to do that. Because, like you're right, I can't go to the next level unless I start offloading. And like I said, the providers, they have the bandwidth to get to our goal numbers. They definitely do.
yeah. So then maximize them, right? Like, I mean, they maximize. If you're paying them, maximize it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Um, Yeah, and another thing too is, if you would like to offload sell this business in 3 to 5 years from now or whatever, um, then you got to be out of it as much as possible. I sell practices on the side. I broker them on the side, and we had a very, very hard time selling this telemedicine based practice. I did a lot of HRT and stuff. We had a very hard time selling it because 50% of the patients were on the founder of that practice.
Oh,
Only
okay.
only 50%. Like, the other 50% were on the other providers, but 50% were on him. It was a key man risk, and it was very, very difficult to eventually find a buyer for his practice. It took us a lot longer than it should have. And he didn't get as good of a deal as he could have if he was only seeing 15, 20%. Okay. So very, very important if you do want to have an exit event.
Got it. That's good to know because I think I see more than 50% of the patients right now. So yeah,
Yeah.
I need
So,
to,
like, if you wanted to sell your practice now, it'd be almost impossible.
yeah.
It'd be very difficult. You would be nickel and dime. You'd only get a fraction of what this business is actually worth. Okay.
Yeah.
So something to keep in mind. If you want that, like, make it a goal in your head. Be like, I would like to have the optionality of selling this business 3 years from now, 5 years from now. If you're 47 years old and you want to say, I would like to be semi-retired at 50, then over the next 3 years, you need to make that a goal. So then when you are 50 years old, you can say, okay, let's let's see what we can get for this thing. Let's go to market. Let's see if we can sell it, you know, and you'd be surprised. So it's up to you on that one.
No,
Pick a date.
absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I don't I want to be doing this forever. I think that it built a great practice and changing the landscape of women's health. So I think that that is my eventual goal, especially as I'm getting older. And then now it's really simultaneously trying to set up what am I going to do after? Like I can't just sit still. So it's just really what am I going to do after? So that's why I've kind of like, okay, I have the practice and then start doing other ventures to see again, listen, when I sell the practice, if speaking engagements is always my thing, I love speaking about, just the experience we all have and expertise. People need this. So trying to do that, trying to do courses on specialized conditions. So I've been kind of dabbling in that as well.
Yeah, you'll figure it out. You'll
Yeah.
figure it out. I mean, you're not going to sit around. You know, I've sold most of my businesses at this point or partnered with, private equity or whatever. And, I was kind of worried about that too. Like, what the hell am I going to do? Right. And I mean, look at me now, brokering practices. I'm not going to just sit around,
Yeah.
like you'll do something. Right. I mean, I tried the whole I'm going to go fly fishing every day thing. It gets old. Like it just does.
It
Like,
does.
yeah.
I
Um,
mean, you're
yeah.
young. So, the other issue that I'm having, and I'm sure a lot of other practices are having, is retention of MAs. I've taken, your advice in terms of, paying them well, doing, bonuses here, really making a great environment. But let me tell you, they're not loyal at all. It's been a challenge. So what I did was I said, you know what? Let me create this MA intern program, and having one or two of my MAs train these interns, and really in essence they're learning at the same time their front desk staff. And I mean, we're about a month in and it's been working, but it's been like it's been a revolving door.
Yeah, this is a problem. This is a struggle with every single practice. It just is. You know, one thing that, and I'm sure you probably realize this now that you've been in the game now for about 5 years, but a lot of people don't realize this is that, just because you care about your business, just because it's your baby, just because it's one of the most important things in your life, does not mean that medical assistant gives two shits about your business. It's a job. It's a job. That's
It's
it.
a job.
They
Yeah.
show up, they get paid, they go home, and they do Netflix or whatever. They don't care, right? It's a job. So you need to just realize that. I mean, and I think you have realized that at this point. That's something that it takes you a couple of years to finally realize that no one
It
really gives a
does. Yes.
yeah, so basically, I think that. I mean, are you paying them more than the average in
It
the
was.
area?
Yeah, I was paying my MAs $25 an hour, which is a lot compared to the area. The area was paying them maybe 18, 19, no more than $21 an hour. And then they were getting a bonus every year, every quarter. I take the staff out. And it's not hard. Like the work in the office is not hard. Even though we're seeing a good amount of patients, the visits are 30 minutes. Like it's not something where patients are waiting 2 hours to be seen. Like it's easy. I think that I've done all that I can to kind of create a great work environment. But again, it just comes to the realization that there is just going to be a revolving door for this position for MAs. It is what it is. And I just came to that realization. I've automated as much as I can. The VAs, that's why I hired the VAs, because they're a little bit more reliable and they're more cost effective than in-person staff. And just getting, I'm getting an AI receptionist in that as well. So just automating a lot of things on the back end. So if I have like one MA between the two locations, it'll be doable. It sucks, but there is not much that I have not, I've done a lot to try to retain, but I just came to the realization it is what it
Yeah,
is, and I just have to
yeah,
work
yeah.
around it.
Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. You know, most of these MAs that you're going to hire are under the age of 30. Almost all of them
Hmm.
are. There's very few who are over the age of 30. You know,
Yeah.
they're out there, yes. But you know, a lot of these people, it's a job. They got a certification as an MA or whatever. It took them 6 weeks to get or something, you know.
Yeah.
And to them, it's a job. And as soon as a better opportunity comes along, they are going to take it. They just are, even if it's an extra $2 an hour. Okay,
Yeah.
these people live in a different. They live in a different world than a provider business owner does. Like it's completely different. You know,
Yeah.
like our vacations could be 15, 20 grand. Theirs are $2,000. You know what I mean? Like it is a big difference. Like
Yeah.
big difference, right?
Hmm.
So these people, I think that you have a couple options. Number one, accept the fact that they just is what it is. Pay them well, give them bonuses, pay for lunches and like that. Make it a good place to work. If they don't see the value in that, then they don't see the value in it. They find a better opportunity. They find a better opportunity. There's absolutely nothing you could have done different. Nothing, right? Um, so accept that. So the options you got are either hire older MAs who aren't looking for different opportunities. They're not young. They're not going back to school. They're not doing these kinds of things. They're 35, 40 years old. They got a kid at the house or whatever. And this is their job, right? They don't really have a choice. So those are typically going to be a lot more loyal, you know, of a worker. That's one option. The other option is to think about maybe finding a higher level individual, right?
Hmm.
An LPN or an RN. Now, I do know they are a hell of a lot more expensive. They are. But if a RN can do the job of two MAs, then essentially you pretty much are it's the same amount of money at the end of the day, close to, right?
Yeah.
Now the RN can do other things as well that can generate revenue in your practice, like IVs and aesthetics or whatever, right? They can even do some follow-up visits for you as well, following different clinical procedures and clinical protocols and whatnot, right? So it's something to think about. And RNs typically they're not going to turn over like that. Not as much as an MA will. I mean, some of them will, but a lot of them will not. Especially if they're coming out of the hospital. Now they're working at a clinic that's Monday through Thursday or something, and
Mhm.
they don't have the white and stuff. Like it
True.
is a win. Like you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Hmm.
So so it could be something to think about as well if it makes sense. If it doesn't, they don't even bother with it. I think the only other option you got at that point is to either give these individuals promotions, turn them into more like assistant clinical managers or something, even though they're going to be doing the kind of the same thing, but give them a little bit more responsibility potentially. Maybe the bonuses should be a lot more frequent than just once a year. All right.
Okay.
At my men's health clinic, we typically do two bonuses a year, one in July and one at Christmas. That's what we typically do. And then also throughout the year, you know, I'll give them $100 or something cash here or there, you know, or buy lunch for everyone or fill up their gas tank, you know, just stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Okay.
So you could try those things as well and see if that works. If that still doesn't work, then you know people just don't see the value in it, and they were going to leave regardless of what you were going to do. It's something you got to accept, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts on all that?
No, I think that that those are all great ideas. I never thought about the RN LPN route, so that's something that I definitely would look into because you're right, because they can be utilized for other things as well. It's just come to a realization. And then also the other thing that I've done as well is in like externships, like the schools that they need facilities, for externships. So I've hired some from their externships, but then again, they use the office as leverage to get another position. So it's just the nature of the beast. Uh,
Yeah.
but but I'll look into the RN LPN because I'm sure that there are so many other things that can generate revenue for the brand with you. Like just gonna the salary is just gonna be higher.
It's just going to be higher, right? So that's why I'm saying, like, make sure it's worth it to you, right?
Yeah.
So, I know a lot of practices okay, that do this, like they will have their RNs do maybe the initial intake with the patient, have the labs ordered, and basically everything is ready to go for the provider, hand it off, that kind of a thing. They will do follow-ups on very, very routine things, right? Medication refills, whatever. Okay, this is your blood work. I'm going to follow this clinical protocol that you designed, just like any other clinical protocol that is in a hospital or whatever, right? They just follow it. Okay, these labs are all within range or whatever, then they can get their refill on their GLP-1 as an example, right? So you can have an RN do that. You just make sure you got to sign off on it and obviously do a second review, but that only take you 1 minute. Get in their chart, click, click. Yeah, okay, that's exactly what I would have done. Click, accept, right? So, so you could use them for that sort of a thing. IVs, aesthetics. I mean, there's a variety of different things that RN can do. So, something to think about. And maybe having an RN come in who can do some aesthetics as an injector or whatever, maybe that would benefit your female patients. So maybe that would actually be a decent money generator. You never know. It's all cash too, right? So,
Absolutely.
yeah, stuff to think about.
No,
Um,
definitely.
okay. Anything else there?
Just last thing in terms of other opportunities for entrepreneurs like myself, like that you know of that maybe not been tapped into, just in terms of it's just having different revenue, especially passive income as well. Just other streams of income coming in, just other opportunities that you know of.
All right. I hope everyone's enjoying the episode so far. I just wanted to take a quick break to thank everyone listening and also give a big thank you to all of my social media followers and email subscribers. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to our email list at www.elitenp.com and make sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. Email subscribers will receive updates on new weekly podcast episodes, multiple weekly articles we publish, new courses, and everything else related to helping you succeed. Remember, all Elite Nurse Practitioner courses are designed to help you build a niche practice, increase your financial strength, and to break free from the rat race. If I can break free and then other countless nurse practitioners can break free, then so can you. Additionally, please share this podcast with your other nurse practitioner sisters and brothers out there. The more NPs that venture out on their own, the stronger our profession will become. Now, let's get back to the episode. Well, I don't know. I mean, I can't really tell you very, very specific opportunities. I mean, there's a wide variety of things that you can do, right? I mean, creating a CE business is one of them as an example. I know a lot of entrepreneurs that do real estate on the side. They get their real estate license and they just like doing it because it's something completely different. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
I actually know a physical therapist who, I mean, this girl is smart. Like she's more educated than any nurse practitioner is. Like she has her doctorate in PT, and then she went on to get like this master's degree in kinesiology, and then she got this physiotherapy certification out of Australia. All this kind of. She is fantastic. Like I see her for like my neck and back, and like 10 times better than a chiropractor. But anyways, she's a real estate agent as well, right?
Wow.
And she owns her own practice and all that. Cause she's like, it's just nice to do something different. That's just what she told me. It's like, it's just nice. There's no responsibility. There's no patience. There's no risk. I can just go show people some houses. She's like, I make an extra like $80,000 a year by just being a very part-time real estate agent, right? Like that's an
Awesome.
example, you know? So like, for me personally though, what I usually recommend for people who are looking outside of their established business. I guess the question first though is do you still want to be within healthcare or do you want to be something that's maybe just different, like a new shade of sky, basically, kind of.
If it's a new, I am open to it. If it's a new like shade, like a new, like I just don't want it to be hard. I don't want it to be like, oh, I got to go and learn this. I just want it to be seamless. So I mean, listen, healthcare is all I know, but if it's something another opportunity, I'm definitely open to it where I can make some revenue. Absolutely.
Yeah. So then typically what I recommend is obviously leverage and maximize your skill set first and foremost. How can you totally leverage what it is that you know outside of the day-to-day stuff? Right. I mean, yeah, you could leverage your knowledge and go and keep seeing more patients and do more stuff in that way, but you don't want to do that. You
Mm-mm.
know, I don't. And that's why I never started another practice. I don't want to, right?
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm done at two. Yeah, I'm not opening another
yeah,
location. Like, yeah, I'm done at two.
yeah, yeah, done. I just don't
Yeah.
want to, right? So you can either, if you want to just maximize what you have right now in front of you, you can expand your practice, right? And open up other locations. You can even franchise it as well. So if you want to leverage what you have in front of you,
Mm-hmm.
okay, those would be two options. And a lot of people do that and they do very, very well, right? Just leveraging exactly what they have. And then other people, like myself, I just get bored and I just want to do something different. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So leverage and maximize what you know in your space, but then how can you leverage that in something that's completely different? So, like, that's what I was talking about, like a CE business as an example, or courses, or speaking at conferences. Can you do some consulting? Can you turn the knowledge and information you have into a software, an app or something? Can you write a book? Is there something that you can just use those skills and do something else with? So like right now, as an example, for me, I'm developing I got a buddy who's a computer programmer. I've known him since high school. And me and
Mm-hmm.
him are developing an app that we're going to come to market with here in hopefully next couple months. It's going to be relevant to any kind of clinician. Okay.
Got
Nurse
it.
practitioners to radiology technology technicians to everything. If you're a licensed, person, this is going to be applicable to you. This app will, and it's going to be something cheap. It's going to be $10 a month,
Oh
right?
yeah, that's not bad.
Pure volume game though, there, right?
Yeah.
So it's something that I'm using my skills that I
Mm.
know, but I'm doing something completely different though, right? So you have to just really think about what are some problems out there that you feel like that you can solve. I mean, without a problem, there's not a business, right? So that's something you have to really think about because I don't know exactly your wheelhouse of skills and knowledge and information. So that's something you have to really think about. What are some problems out there that I can solve? And luckily, now you have AI to maybe even assist you with the brainstorming, right? You could literally open up Gemini or Claude or whatever, and you can say, I want to brainstorm ideas for a new business. I
Mm.
want you to help me identify some problems that my set of skills, and then list out your skills, can solve and
Okay.
see what ideas it might come up with. And then from there, you can then just continue brainstorming until you come up with an idea, right? But you got to solve some kind of problem. I mean, you have to, right? Um, so yeah, something to think about. Or you can do something completely different, like real estate as an example, or investing as well. A lot of entrepreneurs end up becoming accredited and professional investors. I mean, I'm an accredited investor at this point, and I spend a lot of my time learning how to invest, intelligently, decrease my risk, increase my returns, et cetera. Like I understand how the economy and these markets work now, and I understand what these various kinds of investments will do for you. And so, yeah, I mean, I make money doing that, right?
Yeah.
And it's not really a business, it's more of a thing I just do. So there's a lot of ways to make money out there. You just gotta, you know,
Absolutely. Yeah, my husband's in finance and he does all of that. So with the invest, but I definitely have thought about franchising, just because again, I built a great product, like a great brand. I've thought about franchising, and I also thought about a problem that in healthcare that is just in terms of patients and just the customer service of it. Like I have this, I say it's $1 billion idea. It's just finding I guess the engineer to kind of really for it to go to fruition. Like I think it's a game changer, but it's just actually getting the engineer to really map this out. But I think it would solve a lot of problems, especially in healthcare.
from a customer service standpoint.
Yes, from a customer standpoint, from a patient risk, a decrease in risk of patients, provider load in terms of even hospitals. So I think that, the biggest problem we have, in healthcare is conditions that go undiagnosed or results that patients are not that are not told about, and then it cascades into a bigger problem. So I think that I've solved it within just patients really being advised and to know what their numbers are. I can see it in my mind, but I'm not an engineer. I just have the idea and how it would work, and obviously I would prototype it with my practice. But we kind of do it now, but we do it manually. But I think that there is an AI that can actually do it. It's just I'm not an engineer. I think
I
it's a
mean, if it's
billion
done on a
dollar.
computer, yeah, if it's done on a computer or digital space, I mean, AI can figure it out and do it.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Finding an engineer to help you build an app or something is not that hard of a thing to do. Okay, I mean, there's plenty of people out there that can do this for you. So, I'll we'll maybe talk about more details after the call. Okay, so
Absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah, but
yeah. Yeah, so I mean that's an idea too, So so anyways though, back to your practice though. Franchising it's an option, okay? There are people who would love who would pay for a franchise if it's a turnkey kind of ready thing, right?
mhm.
You give them everything that everything that you've worked on and it's the same branding and that kind of a thing. That becomes something that's extremely valuable. That's something that's you could sell that easy, okay? So something to think about. Um, yeah, any other questions there?
No, I think that no, this was great and a lot to think about in terms of the practice, in terms of future, and just really trying to go to the next step. I heard one time, going from, revenue of $1,000 to 500,000 is not going to get you to a million, and it's not going to get you surpass a million. So, and it is absolutely true. We got to change the way we do things to get to the different levels, and it's
Yeah.
absolutely true.
Yeah, you do. Yeah. And honestly, in my opinion, I think hitting that first hundred to $250,000 is a lot harder than hitting a million. Um, so if you can do that, you can hit a million. Because I mean, you've proven the concept of the business. You've
Yeah.
proven that the concept works. Now, how the hell do I get this thing to $1 million, $2 million, right?
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, it's just going to it comes down to extracting leads, right? Generating leads for your
Mhm.
business, ensuring that there is a way to convert warm and hot leads into an actual customer, right? And then increasing the actual volume of customers that you get, and then being able to have the infrastructure in place to service those people. That's it. Like, that's literally all you have to do to
Yeah.
scale a practice and for most businesses in general. That's literally all you have to do. So if you simplify it that way, it doesn't sound that difficult, right?
Hmm.
Um, because it's really not that difficult. It's just you have to be willing to take a risk and to put some time and money into it, which it sounds like you're willing to do because you've already done it, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
So from what I'm hearing from you is that you have 5 providers on staff, right? You
Yes.
have the bandwidth there, but it's not being maximized. So how do you do that? You have to increase the patient volume. You have this goal of having 500 visits a month.
At
I think that's a
least. Yeah.
good goal. Yeah, yeah, it's a good goal. Hit that goal. But then I'd say the next one should be 1,000. How do you get to 1,000 visits a month, right? And the only way you do that is by getting more patients. So how do you do that? Are you marketing at all?
Well, I do Google Ads. I the biggest marketing that has worked is social media. Especially it's insane. I mean, I've spent thousands of dollars on, ads, Facebook ads, print, digital, but TikTok, I don't know what it is. The amount of patients that I'm getting from it, it's insane. And so what I've been doing is maximizing that as much as I can. But other than Google ads, not really much. And my Budget, I think I do $1,000 a month for Google ads between the two locations. It's not a lot.
No,
It's
I
not.
mean, and you get patients from that?
Yeah. We get patients from it, between the two locations. And I don't even have that many. Well, I say I don't have that many Google reviews. One location has 60, the other one has, I think, 160 reviews. They're 4.5 and 4.9 on Google. I try to keep that active as much. But in terms of a huge marketing budget or spending lots of dollars in marketing, no. And I think that could I? Absolutely, but I guess the ROI, that's my issue. Like I've done ZocDoc, which is I hate ZocDoc with a passion, but it works. So I keep a footprint there, but between patients on social media, word of mouth, Google, also referral partnerships with other providers, that has also helped as well. We have a feeder from a primary care practice sending a lot of patients our way. We have late hours, which is very convenient for women. So, and then we provide the customer service. Like a lot of women don't get their results. So we call every patient with every single result so that they know their number. So, like I said, built a really, really good brand. But again, I still think that there's still millions of people who don't know we exist. And there is an opportunity there.
Yeah. No, I mean, no
There's,
question about it,
yeah,
right? I
there's
mean,
an
no question
opportunity there.
about it. Yeah,
But
yeah, there's no question people don't know you exist,
yeah,
100%. So
absolutely.
your Google ad, you spend $1,000 a month on it. If you are
Hmm.
getting patients on that, okay, if it costs you $200 per patient, you're getting what, 5 patients a month from the Google ad? Do you have any idea how many patients you're actually getting from that ad?
Mm, you know what? I don't know how many, but I always ask patients and the providers as well, like, how did you hear about us? And the most is Google and TikTok. That's the most that we get. So I'm not sure in terms of the analytics of how many patients, but it's definitely more than five. Chat GPT, I get patients from that as well. I don't know how, but I do. Um, so
So the reason why you're getting patients from ChatGPT or whatever is probably because you have content on TikTok and stuff like that, and on your website. Okay, that's where it's finding that information, and it's looking at the reviews as well. So you want to maximize all that. Okay,
mm-hmm.
you should strive. Your goal the next 3 months should be doubling the amount of reviews you have on your Google profiles. Okay, do whatever you have to do to get patients to leave you a review. All right, whatever you have to do. There should be no reason why you don't have 500 reviews on there. If you have 500 visits a month, no
Yeah,
reason
you're
why.
right.
Okay, that is a goal. Like, and I would make sure that that goal is not it's not the responsibility of your $25 an hour medical assistants and receptionists and your VAs. It is the goal of the providers. I would be telling these providers, listen, we need more reviews. I want to get you guys busy, get you guys making more money and that kind of a thing. We're going to do that by getting more reviews. So that should be your goal and every provider's goal. Can you please
Okay.
leave us a review at the end of this visit? I'd really, really appreciate it. Just something like that. Okay. And also incentivize people possibly too. Give them something for free or whatever. All right.
Mhm.
Get yourself some reviews. Just think about what that would be.
Okay.
Um, you said most of your patients are coming from Google and TikTok. Those are people who are warmed up to the idea. They were
Mhm.
looking up something to begin with that got them to your website. So they were
Mhm.
already a warm lead to begin with, right? How many of those are coming from your Google search ad? I have no idea. I mean, usually Google will give you the analytics of how many people are landing from onto your website from those, how many people are calling from those ads. So whatever that data is, that it can be difficult to actually really identify and track that down
Yeah.
unless there's an event that can be tracked online. So if they go from your Google ad to your website to schedule an appointment through your website, that can be tracked.
Yeah.
But if they just call, that can't really, there's really no way to really track that other than asking them, right?
Yeah.
Or you have a separate phone number from the Google ad. That way if people are calling that phone number. The only way they get that number is through that Google ad, right?
Okay.
It's one way to
Mhm.
do it. Uh, but one thing I see that a lot of one mistake I see a lot of entrepreneurs make is that they are scared of scaling their marketing budgets up. Okay.
Mm, okay.
Is there a risk that you don't see a return? Of course there is. And it's a very real risk. All right. But there should be an inflection point with marketing dollars. You keep spending, you keep getting, you keep spending, you keep getting. And then eventually you get to a certain amount where it's like, I'm not getting as much now. So then you just scale back the ad spend up down to where it was still getting, right? To where you were still getting a good return on it. And then eventually it just kind of starts turning into more of like, okay, I'm spending way too much money now for each lead. So let's just say, just from simple math, if you were spending $1,000 a month on ads, and let's just say the patient acquisition cost was $100 per patient. So that $1,000 ad gave you 10 patients, right? You scale it to $2,000 and it gives you 20 patients. Fantastic. This is great. $3,000, $4,000, and you're still getting that $100 patient acquisition cost. Then once you get to $5,000, you're like, man, my patient acquisition cost just went up to 120 because now it's requiring more because it's saturating out who's seeing this ad at that point.
Got
So
it.
it's just like, then you just scale back the number to where it was still hitting that $100 where it made sense, okay? But the only way you're gonna know is by continuously increasing that budget until you get to a point where it's like, okay, now it's becoming too expensive. Let's scale it back to the last number. That's the sweet spot. You won't know until you actually start trying to do that, right?
So do you think Google, in terms of increasing the marketing dollars, do you think Google's the best avenue to do that? Or are there other marketing ways that I can allocate those additional dollars to?
I think it's always best to completely maximize and tire out what's working first, okay? If it's working, then maximize it before moving on to the next thing, you know?
Okay.
It's kind of just like, if this is making you money, why would you stop doing it? Like, why? I need to maximize this before I start figuring out something else to add. Like, this service is making me a ton of money. How do I maximize this before I add another service that's not necessary at this point, right? Same thing with marketing. I'd say maximize Google first and then move on to something else. Like, so your TikTok and your Instagram, your social and stuff, this is all organic because of your videos you're putting on there, correct? Reels and
Yeah.
videos and stuff. Yep.
Mhm. Yeah.
So maximize that because that's working. Like, if it was me, if my TikTok was giving me that many patients, I'd be hitting that double as hard.
Yeah.
Like,
I'm trying. I've gone, yeah, I've definitely increased my visibility and videos and things of
yeah,
that nature because each of these videos are getting several hundred views. So you figure the algorithm is definitely working.
yep, yep.
So yeah. And what would
And
you say would be like a healthy budget for Google Ads? They're
I would,
recommended or
I
like,
would
do you have a number?
increase it $1,000 a month.
Okay.
Next month, bump it to 2,000, then bump it to 3,000, bump it to 4,000 until you get to a point where it's not making sense anymore.
Okay.
Okay, that's just it. It's a nice, slow and steady, low risk kind of a thing, right? Me personally, when I advertise online for whatever, I always just like, I'll start kind of low, $500 to $1,000, whatever. Then I'm like, okay, this is working. And I just bump it to 5,000. I just say hell with it. I just go it. I just hit
So
it.
just hit it.
Right.
Okay.
I'm like, I don't want to wait. I'm not going to sit there and titrate this up. I'm just going to blast it. Hell with it. Let's just see what happens, right? Because I want my results now. I don't want to wait 6 months from now to figure out what that number is. I'd rather just dump $5,000, $10,000 at it and see what happens. You know what I mean? Yeah, you're going to waste a little bit of money, but you're going to get your results a lot faster. So it's something to think about. And, YouTube as well. You're posting these videos to your YouTube as well?
Yes, I
TikTok
started
and all that?
posting, yeah, I started posting more on YouTube.
Okay.
But sorry.
Anytime you post a TikTok and your Instagram and your Facebook, you're posting to YouTube at the exact same time. Okay.
Okay.
YouTube's the second largest search engine in the world. Google's number one, YouTube's number two. All right. So
Did
it's
not know that.
foolish. Yeah, it's foolish not to be maximizing YouTube. All right. There might be people in your area that go to Google and say, you know, my women's HR, my hormones might be off, oh, whatever. And maybe your video comes up like, oh, she's seeing patients right here, 5 minutes down the street from me, right? You will get patients from it. You will, okay? And by hitting this as hard as you possibly can, like I said, double the amount that you're posting, okay? Just talk about whatever that is relevant to what it is that you're doing. 5-10 minute videos that provide some value, right? Just do that and try to post 3 to 5 times a week, okay? And eventually one of those videos will go viral, so to speak. I mean, it's not going to be like 1 million views. I mean, it could be, but viral to you, you know, you say you get a couple hundred views or whatever, viral to you could be 10,000 views, right? That's viral to you, you know? So that 10,000 views could turn into 50 patients or something. You never know, right? And so you just got to be very, very consistent with it. So I think to meet this customer patient acquisition component of this pillar of growing your business, I think that I would maximize Google. Okay, I would drop $2,000 or $3,000 a month on it and see what happens. All right. Yes, it is a roll of the dice, but you got to try it. You just got to try it, and then increase what's working already. Right. Get as many Google reviews as you possibly can. Incentivize your patients if you have to. Have your providers ask every single patient, and then maximize the organic stuff, the TikTok, the YouTube, the Instagram, etc. Maximize that. I would keep it simple. Start there. Don't do anything else. Just that stuff right there, okay? You could play around with promoting or boosting some of this stuff on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram or whatever, okay? You could play around with actually doing some paid advertising on that platform if you want, all right? And just start small with it, you know? Be like, okay, this video tended to get a lot more engagement and a lot more likes and views than the other ones. This is obviously something that's important. So why don't you just throw $500 behind it and promote it over a week and see what happens? Like, just see what happens. It could be a total waste of money, or it might not be. You're never going to know until you give that a try, all right? So it is something you could at least try, and you could be a lot more detailed with your targeting. You can target people specifically in your area with those ads, okay? So that way you're pushing that right in front of the face of people who are, you know, within a 15-minute radius of you, which I'm assuming in your area is probably a lot of people, right?
It is.
Like 1 million people or something.
Yeah, it's New York City. Yeah.
Right. 1 million people at least, right? And you promote that to those people around you, okay? Throw $500 at it or whatever for a week and see what happens. Now, the thing that you want to make sure that's important here, okay? Something that's important is that you want to make sure that there's some intention behind that boosted post, okay? If you advertise on TikTok or YouTube or Instagram or whatever, okay? Make sure there's an intention with it, because a lot of people don't have an intention. They just boost it and they're like, oh, just see who comments or whatever. Make sure there's some intention behind it. Inside that, you say, if you're interested, learn more by clicking below, and it's a link to your website, the booking page or something, okay? Or create a separate landing page specific for those social media ads that take them to, hey, have a video of you. My name's Peggy, blah, 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 whatever, okay? If you're interested in scheduling an appointment, click below. We take insurance, whatever. Click below and schedule your appointment right now. We'd be happy to see you. We can get you in within the next week. Intentional behind it, okay? Same thing with the Google ad. Don't just send them to your website. Send them to a page that's specifically talking to them. Video of you, click below, we can get you in within a week, blah, 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 whatever. We take all major insurances. What do you have to lose, kind of a thing, right? Be intentional with it. Actually have a plan with it. And you would be surprised at how well that could actually work.
Yeah, I never thought about that. That's actually a great idea, because, you know, people do boosts all the time, and it's like, you're right. It has to be a link that they click, and then it goes to, whether it be, because on our website, we have blogs about more information. So, but it would have to be a video of me. Would it have to be a link? I'm sorry, let me go back. Would it have to, from that video, it's a link to the website, or it's another link of me saying to go to our website? What are your thoughts?
So the boosted video that you have, it can either be in that video at the end. Okay, click below if you're interested in scheduling an appointment with us, okay? Or in the ad itself, you say click below, and then it goes to your website, a landing page that you create on your on your website, and then has another video of you talking about how it works being a patient with, at your practice or whatever. Click below to, schedule your appointment. Just scroll down and schedule it right now through our website. That's it. That's the funnel. It's
Okay.
literally it. Okay. But there has to be some kind of call to action, some kind of intention for people.
Got
Right.
it.
You don't want to just boost something out there, a piece of content, and not have it at least go to your website or something. You know what I mean? Like, you want to try to at least get people interested in what it is that you're doing, and you want them to become a patient. And with you accepting insurance, there is no reason why you can't get to 1,000 visits a month in the next 6 months.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
you're gonna have
we
to
accept Medicaid.
do what?
We accept Medicaid as well.
There is no reason why you can't be at 1,000 patients in 6 months from now. And if you do that, you'll be at $1 million, more than $1 million,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
That's what I would do if I was you. Maximize it. You got to get that patient acquisition thing dialed in. You got to get as many people through that door as you can. Stop relying on word of mouth. Stop relying on people just finding you on TikTok and Google. Send it out there and just see what happens. Take $10,000. Just take $10,000 out of the account and be like, this is what I'm going to spend on marketing over the next 2 or 3 months as an experiment, and let's just see what happens. Like, how many new patients do we get the first month, the second month, the third month? Am I seeing a trend here, or is it nothing happening? If nothing's happening, then, well, you have your answer. That didn't work. Let's figure it out. Let's figure something else out, right?
Got it. Okay. No, that's a great plan. Like I said, we're upgrading our phone infrastructure right now because my staff can't handle the phones. It's just ringing off the hook. And we have an option for patients to schedule online. And it's very user friendly, but patients, they just like to call. And so I'm working, I know. So I got to get that infrastructure set because I know I'm missing patients. I know I am because people are not going to keep calling if they don't get an answer. So that as of next week should be kind of done, and I should be able to have like my AI receptionist up and running that can at least at the very schedule appointments, and it's also integrated into my HR. So
There you go. You are very smart. Yes. Make sure that infrastructure is in place first before you start
yes,
blasting out some ads.
yes, I know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's the biggest waste of money ever. I've seen people do that. It's like, wait a second, you do not have the infrastructure in place to take on that many calls, to take on that much business. You're wasting your money. Get that
yeah,
figured out first, then do that.
absolutely.
Yeah. So yeah, it sounds like you're almost there. So just pull the trigger on it, see what happens.
Okay. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, we're gonna do it. I'm excited. I really, really am. Like it's one of those like when this starts working and you're like, wow, it feels good. It absolutely feels great to really own something that is working and is doing well. And it's been over 5 years.
Of
So
course it
so
is.
yes, it's nice. It's a nice feeling. I still have imposter syndrome. I still am, things keep me up at night. Don't get me wrong, but I think this is par for the course. Like it wouldn't be, you wouldn't be an entrepreneur if things didn't keep you up at night or if you weren't worried about something.
100%.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you should pat yourself on the back. What you've done is something that not a lot of people do. So
Thank you.
you've done well. Yeah. All right. Like in the episode, you asked me a question. I know you probably asked me a question 2, 3 years ago or whatever it was, but do you have a new question or curiosity for me?
Oh wow. I think you answered it. I did have the question turn. It was like, what's next for you?
Yeah.
Like I've followed you for years and you've done amazing and thank you for creating this platform for us. But what's next for you? Like what's the thing that you're like, okay, I'm gonna
Yeah.
be doing.
Yeah. So let me preface that first with saying, because I was going to mention this when we were talking about that, then I forgot.
Hmm.
Uh, when you make a lot of money, okay, you have some windfall income, and by windfall income I mean you sell a business or something. Like you
Hmm.
get a very large influx of cash, basically, right?
Hmm.
Or you build a lot of revenue, you build a lot of money over 3 or 5 years in your practice or something. Like I know an MP, for example, who has almost $5 million in their brokerage account, and they haven't even sold their business yet. That's just from the money they've made through their business over the last
Wow.
5 years, like just killing it, right?
Wow.
So when you get to a point where you hit this certain number, and for everyone it's a little bit different. It could be 3 million, 5 million, 10 million, whatever. Okay. When you hit a certain number, I hit that number. I hit that number about, it was 3 years ago at this point. I hit this number and I was like, okay, so when you hit that number, it gives you optionality that you do not have until you hit that number.
Mm-hmm.
And that number, it's this nest egg, right? It's this large amount of money that you have that now covers you for almost your entire life if you wanted it to. And so it reduces the fear, the risk, the anxiety of trying out different options and taking on various risks, right? And so I hit that about 3 years ago. And so that's what you want to strive for, is getting to that point where you have the choice of optionality, right? You're not tied to your business. Your business could fail and you'd still be fine, right? You're not there yet. You will get there at some point, next 3 to 5 years, hopefully you'll get there. And so for me, I hit that. And then, over the last few years, I've been piddling around trying some different things. And so right now, what's been working for me is that I got Pro Eye Brokers, which is what I sell practices through. Website's a little crude, but it works. And so I sell people's practices for them now. So I broker businesses. I have a partner who's in the M&A space, who's very talented at what they do. And so I'm doing that now because I enjoy doing it. It's fun. And I only charge 5%. I don't charge, most brokers charge 10. I only charge 5 because I don't need the money, right? So I charge 5%. It covers my expenses, helps my partner out, and gives me a little spending money kind of a thing. So I do that, and it's been fantastic. It's a great experience. I learn a lot doing it. It's completely unrelated to healthcare. It's business. It's mergers and acquisitions. It's fun. So I do that, and I got Pro Course Start, where I teach people how to start CE businesses, that kind of a thing. And then, that's kind of it. I'm just dabbling around, I'm building out some apps. I'm trying to figure out how I can utilize AI to do something within healthcare, because that's what I know. And so, I know healthcare, I know continuing education. That's really what I know. Mm-hmm. And so I'm just piddling around with my buddy, building out some apps and figuring out kind of how we can create something that's more of an app. I want something that's just like almost entirely passive, subscription based, $10 a month, that kind of a thing. And what we're going to develop, I think, is going to be something that's going to really help a lot of providers stay regulatory and compliant kind of a thing. So yeah.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, no, listen, I think AI is where it is. And I think if people, especially us, if we're not adopting it, we're going to be left behind. So as much as I could incorporate it, and I've incorporated a lot of AI into the practice, which has changed my life.
Yeah. I think you're a fool not to.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
yeah. So
Cool.
this has been great. Thank you so much for having me on again. And I'm glad I'm able to update you. Thank you again for creating this platform and helping, entrepreneurs like me. Because I listen to your podcast religiously, and I always get nuggets, and I'm like, okay, this is what I need to do. But I will say, I think you need to bring back the at one point you had where you were interviewing entrepreneurs who've reached a certain level and they were scaling. I think you need to bring that back as well.
Yeah, the problem is that a lot of those people don't want to talk. Like, yeah. And like, I know some people and they're like, I don't want to be on the podcast. I'm like, okay, well, so it's more or less kind of just, people need to email me. If you are out there, Justin at elitemp.com, just email me if you want to get on this and let's talk about your success. Absolutely. Yeah.
Because you've been building this for the last 5 years, at the very least. And now you have people like myself that are 5 years in that are looking for the next level. And, like I said, there's a need for the ones that want to open the practice, but there's also a need for the ones that want to scale it to that next level.
Yep. And because of that too, I actually forgot, Elite MP, we're actually releasing a mastermind in September. I believe September 1st is our goal to release it. And it's actually going to be a 3-month program. It's going to be called, what the hell do we call it? I forgot what we even called it at this point, but it's the only mastermind we got. And it's
Yeah.
about that. It's about scaling your practice. It's for those people whose businesses have been open for, 3 years-ish or whatever, who just need the steps and the guidance to get it up to that next level. And so we have that coming out now, because exactly right. There's a lot of people like yourself who've, took our courses 5 or 6 years ago, and now they're in this position where they're like, well, what do I do next? Right.
Yeah.
So that's kind of why we created this mastermind. And I don't think a course would do it justice. I feel like that it requires a lot more of me talking with people, and it's, you know what I mean? So there's like Q&A calls, and like, I'm the one running it. There's no one else running it. It's just me in there. And so,
Yeah.
great. We're excited about releasing that here in the next couple months. So hopefully that'll help people out too. So, yeah.
Absolutely. That's exciting. Well, thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate it.
Okay. And just hold on just 1 second here after we stop recording, so that way this entire thing uploads. Okay.
Sure, no problem.
Okay. Take care.
Okay.
Thank you for listening to the show. Quick legal disclaimer. The content of this podcast is meant for informational and entertainment purposes only and should not be used as legal, financial, medical, regulatory, or practice-specific advice. For information pertaining to your specific legal, financial, medical, or practice-specific needs, please be sure to consult with your lawyer, CPA, medical director, and/or your state's practice laws and the most up-to-date clinical guidelines. As always, do your due diligence when it comes to any information found online and in podcasts. The content in this podcast is copyrighted by Galaxy Medical Southwest 2023 and cannot be duplicated, rebroadcasted, or reproduced without our written permission.